When I was 11, I built an Instagram account from 0 to 114,000 followers and eventually sold it. And since then, I've done a gazillion different brands for a gazillion different businesses that I was starting. And that all led me to right now, where I quite literally blew up overnight. So let me tell you what I did, how I did it, so you can copy. So right now would typically be the part where I tell you I'm a coach or I'm a consultant. I'm not. I run an SEO and website design business that I don't really promote on here. This is more for documenting and helping you and realistically lead nurture. So I don't have much to gain by telling you this entire strategy other than your trust if you need SEO in the future. So I started this channel with the intention of documenting the process and then potentially, starting to use short form as a way to promote my business. With short form, you can go back and look. I posted like 100 videos and I was kind of trying to figure out what to do because I didn't want to do education because I was still starting my business. I didn't feel necessarily qualified, even though, it's okay if you're just a couple steps ahead of someone and you want to teach them, but I wanted to be an expert if I was going to really teach them in-depth things. So then I got kind of more into the personal development side of things, and there wasn't really any point to what I was doing. The thing is, I knew how to grow on social media. I just kind of was trying to do it in a different way, but I realized recently that value doesn't have to come in the form of information. My best friend Tanner, or Tommy Noble, he does skits online and a lot of people like it because it's funny. And I told him this idea I had for a skit, which was salesman or girlfriend breaks up with salesman. And he was telling me, dude, you should do it on your account. And I was like, you know what? I actually do think it would do well. I do think it would be valuable to people. And it's an easy way for me to do it without trying to be the authority. If you're starting out, you got to think of different ways to provide value other than trying to be the expert and the person that knows the most. And yes, you can still provide value, you can still provide info, but for me, I was like, everyone likes humor. And it doesn't matter, like if I'm younger than a lot of these guys, these business owners I'm targeting are like twice my age, so they're not gonna take me seriously. But if I do humor, I can relate to everyone. Everyone appreciates that. So I posted the first skit and quite literally blew up overnight. It was either 1 or 2 days, but basically I posted it and then I woke up, or maybe a day went by and I woke up the second day and it had, I think, 600,000 views. My last video on here, I think, was currently when it was blowing up, and it was at 300K, the one I posted a few days ago, which was literally the first video I posted after deciding to start actually making an effort and growing this page. Because before, honestly, I was kind of just posting to post. I didn't really have a clear goal, but as soon as I figured that out and realized value can come in other forms other than information, then I was like, wow, okay, let me try hard. I posted that one, and then as soon as that one did well, I knew exactly what to do. But I want to make a point here. This is not always the best strategy, but what I'm doing right now is following up with similar concepts, which is typically good for growth. So if you do girlfriend breaks up with salesman, you want to follow up with your friend that's a salesman, or first date with a salesman, things like that, things that are very similar. But the difference here is that I'm trying to promote my business. My goal is to make money, get clients, all that. So I'm not focused on being famous on the internet. I don't care about followers. I don't care about views. What I care about is getting qualified leads in my inbox, in my CRM, right? So with that being the case, I'm keeping that in mind when making these salesman videos, because yes, it's in the business realm. I am getting some people that are the right people. Like I'm getting roofers, I'm getting concrete businesses, I'm getting some other unique businesses that I haven't worked with before. But the whole thing is, I don't think I'm getting as many as I could have if I had targeted a specific kind of business niche that I was trying to reach, right? And I think I was wrong because I was under the assumption that, any business owner would understand sales. They've all done sales, right? But of course, stupidly, the people that relate the most are people that do sales for a living, salesmen, which are not necessarily the people I'm trying to target. Yes, they're not bad people to have, because they know a lot of business people. They're, involved in a lot of business. Ultimately, I'm reaching the right, around the right kinds of people, but I'm trying to tread lightly and make sure I don't just, run those salesman videos into the ground and just be known as the sales guy, because, that can easily box me in, and then I'll be targeting the wrong kinds of people for a long time. So that's something that I want to be really careful about, because I this is for business. I'm not just trying to get big doing whatever I want. Like I'm trying to do something very specific and strategic, reach a specific type of business owner, so that way they eventually want to buy my services. Now, obviously, the most optimal way to do this would be information. So if I'm teaching people certain SEO strategies, which I'm going to do in the future, but obviously they don't always get the most views, which, like I said, views don't always matter. But in the beginning, when you're trying to get your page off the ground and just get some views, it can be helpful, in my experience at least, to just kind of post something that you know is going to do well, maybe isn't quite as targeted, and then niche down from there. But it could be a terrible idea. I don't know. I'm not going to fully recommend that. That's just what I'm doing right now. So I'm going to keep everyone up to date with how it's going, but I wanted to make this video because I see a ton of people, and people even reach out to me where they're like, hey, you really need help scaling your brand, or like, oh, your page is doing great, but you should fix these 3 things. And they have 140 followers. Like, I don't understand why I would listen to you. So the point is, if you're trying to be an authority, but you haven't done it yourself, you just look terrible. No one takes you seriously. And, you know, it's probably a better idea to find some other way to provide value and make sure it's still targeted towards that niche. So for me, I'm going to be making a lot more specific kinds of content that are targeting business owners and other things that the business owners that I'm trying to work with could relate to. So that is the entire strategy. And I know I'm not getting super technical with like style of video or whatever, but I want to emphasize I did get a lot of views, but I was trying to reach the right people. But I knew what kind of video would work, because obviously it's just something over time of doing this. If you put a lot of reps in, you'll start figuring out what works, what kinds of things work. But for real, my strategy is always just trying to make videos that people that I'm trying to reach would like. And I wasn't sure about the comedy thing, but I had a feeling that, you know, because of this skit style thing that's doing really well right now, the whole authentic thing is doing really well, hence these videos, I think it'll do well. And it very clearly did, but I did no captions on it, none of that crazy stuff, no crazy editing. And then I just promote my stuff in the link in the pinned comments. And I don't think I'm getting as many people as I could be if I had targeted it correctly, but I'm getting enough people. And then on here, it's all just lead nurture and documentation. Like, I'm nurturing you by trying to give you something valuable right now. And then eventually you'll trust me. And if somebody you know needs SEO, you may send them my way. But ultimately, this is not only to provide value and nurture and whatever, but it's also for me to document. So I'm gonna also have videos of me just kind of talking about what I'm doing, what my struggles are. And then in the future, I'll probably promote my business on here. But as of right now, I really have no reason to, because I would like to make videos more like this. And, you know, my partner is the one who's the expert in SEO, not me. So I'm going to have him send me things that I can talk about from his point of view, but I'm not the expert, like I said in another video. So ultimately, that is the entire strategy that I used. And I hope in some way that's helpful. I've talked about it a lot, but like, views are not dollars. I mean, I guess on here they literally are, but if you're monetized, but you know, that shouldn't be the goal. Like, your goal should be reaching the correct people, because you can have a very small following, very small amount of views, but if you're reaching the perfect kind of, you know, potential customer, you're good to go. And like I said, ideally, information is the best, because it'll make them trust you. They'll use it, it'll work, and they'll be like, oh, I believe you. But also, the humor thing really works, because then people just kind of like you because you made them laugh. Like, it's something very small and simple. And I don't know how I had never thought about that. And obviously, my friend Tanner, if you've seen Tommy Noble on Instagram or TikTok, like, he has a huge following and everyone just likes him for him, and he just makes funny videos. So I think that's kind of a new strat, and I'm seeing other businesses do it, but I'm not really seeing like creator-led businesses. They're all trying to be an authority. They're all trying to win you over and make you think they're the expert. But I low-key think this might be kind of the new trend that we may see moving forward, is just kind of more broad things where you're getting eyeballs that are around the same niche that you're looking for. And it doesn't really matter how you're getting them, but you're still able to promote your stuff. Anyway, that's my entire strategy. I don't know if that's super useful, but just because everything has been blowing up like crazy, I wanted to make this video, talk about it, and let you know it obviously was intentional. Look at the videos before it. They were just Facebook ads, and then the other ones were informational. So that was the first video I posted. It was all pretty somewhat carefully planned, but like I said, kind of missed the mark on the audience a little bit, but we'll see how it goes, and I'll let you know how it goes in the future moving forward.